Hi, I'm Shana Hamel with Next Home Excellence.
I'm Derek Patty, also with Next Home Excellence.
And we're here today. This is episode 1 of our first podcast. I don't think we have a name yet, Derek, do we?
We are in the works on the name.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
looking for something catchy, maybe with Luke.
Luke is our mascot. For
Luke
those
is the
that you
mascot.
don't know, we have a dog mascot. So we were, maybe I'm going to post this. He's going to post this maybe in the comments somewhere. If you guys have a suggestion for a catchy name, let us know, and we're open to some suggestions. But we hope to be able to do this. And what we talked about doing, neither of us really like to be on camera talking at the camera.
So more of a convo.
More of a conversation, unscripted. So no scripts. We have some stat pages that for last month's stats, but we really wanted it to be a very organic conversation.
More real.
More real.
Real talk.
And in fact, we haven't really, these just came out, so we're almost reviewing them with you as we speak. But we kind of know what's going on because we're doing things. So I know, the stats, how there's a little bit of a, so we'll go over the stats, but I feel like there's a little bit of difference between what the stats say and what seller sentiment still is and what buyer sentiment still is right now. So I think there's some...
It all plays a role.
Yeah, it all plays a role for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the stats, Derek.
Sure.
Closed sales in single family homes in Sarasota and Manatee County collectively, not much of a change from this same time last year.
Almost spot on. There's a difference of about 20 sales. So again, it's
really not different.
1.5% higher than it was last year. Same thing with those that have paid in cash. Of those sales, you have almost identical 457, which last year was 455. So I mean, we're seeing almost like the same market that we had last year in those two categories, as well as the median sale price.
So the summer has a market here.
Absolutely.
Locally. So like I'm looking, and it's over 1,300 single family home sales in the month of July. A lot of people think the market disappears in the summer. And while I think we slow a little bit, it's just a different market. It's a different population that we're catering to. But it doesn't stop.
Yeah. I had this conversation yesterday, actually in a listing appointment. And the question was, when's the best time to list? Well, it used to be, I feel like the seasonal months at the beginning of the year were obviously the most popular because it's when the snowbirds come down. That's when there's a lot more activity. But that's over the last, let's say, 10 years. We've seen that change, in my opinion, where you have a market throughout the season that we are, quote unquote, the actual season that everyone talks about. Then you have the summer, then you have a fall, and it kind of goes right back into season. But I mean, the summer season is still busy. There's been sales. Things are still moving. There's
I had a closing yesterday.
Happening.
I know you've had a recent closing.
Yep.
So
multiple next week. So I mean, there's things still occur. It's there's not a perfect time. There could be strategic times, depending on the house.
But for our sellers, it feels like nothing's happening, right? So I mean, the showings on our listings are trickling. So while it feels a little different than it did last year this time, I didn't feel this like sluggish, to showings and things like that. So what do you think, where's that coming from?
I think there's still I don't know if it's a hangover from COVID, but we got to a point where everything was so chaotic and going 150 miles an hour to a slowdown of, hey, we're back to like a normal market.
Sure.
And we're not, I don't think we remember that this is what it was like prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't 6 days on market, you're under contract, you're selling. Like so you've been doing this long enough. I've been doing it long enough that we had a market prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So I think we have to remember that, and that with that comes, there's going to be some time on market. You're not going to have 15 showings your first 3 days on the market.
No, not here.
Yeah,
maybe
so
at other places across, maybe where you are right now watching,
Yep.
you might be experiencing that, but it is not happening here. And a lot of that is due to the fact that we gained a lot of inventory. And so even just looking at the inventory here from this same time last year in single family homes, we have 1,000 more single family homes than we did last year. And I think that that's going to impact everything because buyers have more choice.
For sure.
And so you're not getting everybody in your listing because they've got 10 to choose from.
Yep.
And maybe you make the list and maybe you don't. And that's up to, the condition of the home a lot of times.
Well, on top of the condition, I think it's the photography. It's how you prepare the home.
Absolutely.
You want it to look like it's one of the best ones on the market in your price point. And that will get at least people through the door, and then from there, they have to feel out if is this the home for me?
And it's price point.
So
it really is price driven, and this $1,000 or 1,000 unit inventory difference in single family homes doesn't always account for, these stats don't always account for all the inventory we have in new construction.
Correct.
And so they're building north of us. We're in central Sarasota. They build north of us. They build east of us, they build south of us.
There's all sorts of new construction going on.
There is. And that doesn't even include in this inventory because they don't always list it in our MLS system. And so that's not contributing. So we're seeing longer days on market.
Yep.
And so buyers have more choice. And
I do think an interesting statistic to follow is, obviously we talk about price drops. Why do prices drop? There's a lot of different reasons why, but I mean, obviously inventory going up, you have more to choose from. You're a buyer, you're out looking at everything you want to see. You decide what is the best thing after you see everything, because you don't have to rush into anything anymore. So you're taking your time, you're looking for the best deal, and you're making a decision. Well, on top of it, you have other issues. You have, hey, we're going to price the home at a higher level and we can always come down. Well, how high are you going over where maybe the market value is? So the statistic is median percentage of original list price. So your original list price when you go to market, where are you actually selling at? Where's that percentage at? How big of a gap is that? And that actually, you actually are seeing 90s. that you're low 90s. Last year we were at 94.5%. Now we're at 92%. So I mean, you're showing that there's deals.
There are deals.
And
those deals aren't just lower prices. There's a lot more seller concessions happening where the sellers are contributing to the buyer's closing costs. I just did one of those last month where we helped to pay for a buyer closing cost. So it's great, kind of a great time for first-time home buyers.
It's a great time for buyers in general.
Yeah. Well, we're almost, according to the stats, we're at 5.2 months of supply. 6 months is the balanced buyer-seller market. So we're slightly below a buyer's market, according to the stats.
Yeah,
that's
slightly
not
below balance.
That's not how I feel 100% out there.
It doesn't feel necessarily like we are in a slightly seller market.
Right.
I think because of that lag in showings and the length of time on market and all the things, but
I think you're right. In comparison to COVID versus the market before COVID, that's why it feels like, oh my gosh, it's taking forever.
You remember when we got out of the frenzy and things actually started to kind of slow, where you didn't have multiple offers?
Yeah.
You're like, what is happening?
What's happening?
Yeah.
Why is it so quiet?
It was crazy.
It was.
Even then you went from 150 to 100 miles an hour and you're like, what's going on? So here we are back. In my opinion, we're back to more of a stable, normal market.
Yeah.
And we just have to understand this is the normal. This is what we want. This is a balanced, much more balanced, I guess is probably a better. But,
it might not look like the market where our buyers and sellers are coming from.
Yes.
And so that's so important to realize that we are like a microeconomic setting versus a macroeconomic settings, because the headlines across the country are not talking about the trend we're seeing in Florida. And so you can go to some other metros, you can go to some other places, and you're seeing much different dynamics because they still don't have the inventory that we have built. And a lot of that specifically, and can we transition to condos for a minute?
Sure. What a market that is.
Oh, wow, how different, right? So the condo market in our area in Sarasota, Manatee, closed sales again down, not as similar as the single family homes, down double digits. We're down. And the sale price, the median sale price from the same time last year, down double digits. So wow,
Condos don't look nearly as stable.
No.
They are down on a lot of categories, a lot of negatives in terms of year-over-year statistics.
Yeah.
Prices are down 11.5%.
Yeah.
Closed sales is down 13.5%.
New listings are down. I mean, everything's down.
There's a lot.
The only number that goes up here, inventory, has gone up.
So,
yes.
Which again, supply and demand.
Supply and demand
pushes prices down because you have a lot more competition.
And you're in 7 months of inventory as of July for the condo market, which means we have totally shifted to a buyer's market.
Yes.
So even the feel of selling your single family home versus selling your condo, it's the buyer kind of holds the cards right now for that market.
I had a few condos that we did not end up selling because they just, for various reasons, pricing. It could have been, there's other circumstances on both of them.
Yeah.
Condition was not always the case, but again, there was just other external factors that came into play. But I mean, the struggle of showings and everything else, it was a constant, like, what's the right decision here? When you have more and more coming on market, again, the buyer that's looking for a condo, they're going to look for the best deal.
Well, and right now there's a lot to choose from.
You got
absolutely
HOA fees going up. You've got insurance.
That's another conversation. So I know, like, we want to maybe talk about condos in a more comprehensive way on a different podcast, but it is one of the major things affecting the condos right now are the carrying costs.
Sure.
And I think that that's hard for people to understand, because it's not that we don't think the property itself maybe has the value that everybody wants to get out of it or could get out of it. I know I have a gorgeous Gulf view, panoramic view property on the market right now. And it sits a little bit.
It's gorgeous.
It is. I mean, like, so, it's not that, the question is, why isn't the value there? And the answer to that, and in a conversation I had with one of my sellers, you hit the nail on the head when you say it's that carrying cost that's preventing total cost. Yeah. So it's not just the value of the property by itself with condos. Our buyers are taking into, or anybody's buyers are taking into account, the entire carrying cost of that property. But and that's the HOA dues, and that's the insurance, and that's a lot of things.
And then you have obviously taxes. So taxes have gone up over time.
Gone up.
Prices have gone up. Taxes have gone up with it. A lot of times in our area, we have a lot of condo owners that aren't homesteading their property. So those have gone up. You also have the tax or insurance. Yep. That's gone up, but it is starting to trickle back down. So that we can talk about that later.
Let's hope. My closing yesterday, the new assessed tax value came out. It was over 100,000. I think it was at least 100,000 or more over what the property appraised assessed value was last year.
Okay.
And so and that had been a homesteaded property. So in the defense of that
would go
so
up.
The homestead ran out because there was a death in the family. And so things had shifted, and they came out with this new tax bill. And to see that increase in the taxes, I mean, that's what people are up against when they're buying property. And but there's good news on the horizon, and maybe we can wrap it up talking about a little bit of the good news. The good news is, did you see the stuff about the insurance and
there's a couple things over the last week or so that have come out through Florida Realtors about insurance. So we have additional carriers coming. We have, I think it'll be the 15th carrier.
The 15th carrier. So for those of you that are
the whole regulatory change.
Yes. So we lost everybody a few years ago, and we were down to pretty much just Citizens was the only insurer, and maybe one other, but we were pretty much bare bones Citizens, because, and that's another topic for another time. But the insurance carriers completely exited Florida, and here's a little teaser. It wasn't because of the hurricanes. So So we can talk about that another time. The hurricanes helped, but that
Yeah.
wasn't one of the sole courses or reasons why they left. And so this news that we have a 15th insurer coming, and also that current carriers are dropping their rates.
There are some
They're
that are in
applying.
the process to gain approval from the state that'll allow them to drop their premiums on single family homes by
Yep.
about 8%. And I think it was about 12.5% they're asking for on condos, which again will help.
Will help. That's going to help those carrying costs.
All those things will factor into pricing and
Yep.
affordability and desirability for these condos. So
they're talking about that going into effect early 2026, but there are some companies that have already seen some
Yes.
decreases. So
I had a conversation with somebody, an agent, a local insurance agent here that has seen renewals taking place that actually are lower than last year.
That's great.
So it's not something that, again, happens immediately, but as you're seeing renewals take place, like there are carriers that are already doing it. So it's happening. Everyone wants it to happen like, hey, their rates are going to drop and everyone's insurance drops together, but it's on a cycle, so it's happening.
Unless they want to shop around. And if they want to shop around, they can call us and we can give some names of the brokers we tend to do business with. And we're happy to help you, research whether or not you qualify for one of those decreases. So feel free to reach out to us.
Absolutely.
And if you have questions about what's going on in your neighborhood specifically, we're happy to give you the market stats for that. If you want to reach out to us for contacts on figuring out if you can save some money for insurance purposes.
Absolutely. Insurance, we have contacts for just about everything.
Just about everything.
So.
And if you just want to talk to us about real estate, we'd love to have you do that too. Help us name our podcast, and we'd love a name, and we'd love your feedback. And so and let us know how we did. And if there are topics you'd like to hear about, you can let us know those too.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah, I think
like, subscribe, comment, all the things.
Subscribe. That means we have to have a channel.
I don't know what we're subscribing on yet, but just in case.
Derek, for being unscripted, good job. And I hope
this is fun.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it too. So
we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you on episode 2.
Thank you.
Take care.